We are live from the India Today Global Studio. Is Trump trouble for Khalistan? To discuss this and more on what is happening on the Khalistan issue, I'm being joined by a prominent individual, an IT entrepreneur, as also a member of the newest caucus in the United States of America, the Hindus for America caucus, Sukhi Chahal, who has come down to New Delhi, and he has been meeting some prominent leaders here. So we will begin with your meetings and the conversations around Khalistan. I ask you this, Mr. Chahal, is because you've lived in the United States of America for over 30 years now, and you know exactly what happened. You'll take us through how this Khalistani movement has become such a big deal. It's a huge concern for India. It has become more than just a concern, a security threat in many ways than one for India, Indian diplomats, Indian assets and Indian investments. And you're here. So what are the conversations? You landed on the 15th of November, and I see that just the very next day you met the Home Minister.
Yes, I did.
So a lot of conversation on Khalistan, was it?
Not really the Khalistan. First of all, thank you very much, and Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal. I was here almost 2 months back when the Haryana election was going on. At that time, I have spoken to Mr. Amit Shah ji, and I know Amit Shah ji long enough, and I have a lots of regard for that individual Amit Shah ji. And so even last time I came here in December, and I have received at New Delhi, in Chandigarh, the helipad right in front of the CM's residence. And so that means actually this is not the first time. Many people, they ask me the same question that, oh, because of the Pannu issue going on, Khalistan issue going on, so that's why you are meeting the Home Minister. That's not true. My meeting with Amit Shah ji, because I have so much respect for him, and especially in the interest of the diaspora, Punjabi diaspora, Sikh diaspora, because we have many issues. The Punjab have been victim of the terrorism, and there's lots of gang wars was going on, and so there was definitely some law and order issue on the Punjab side in past, right? So now the kind of a perception and the narrative is being built by the Khalistanis abroad, and they are claiming that Punjab is pretty much occupied state by the Indian state. So it is not safe to go there. Sikhs are not safe in Punjab. So that's why, because of that perception, we have to meet the relevant parties. And who are the relevant party? Because at the end of the day, everything falls under the Home Ministry. So that's why I was meeting the Home Minister to make sure actually so that they are aware of that, what is our concern, especially the Punjabi community and the Sikh community. That was the reason for me to meet. And
so you did discuss concerns with regards to another very important, because you said this, and I want to bring this point out. There was a question in Rajya Sabha that was put on asylum seekers who are going from India, and the government's response is exactly what you're saying, that they're now trying to say in their application that things are very bad for them. They're painting India in the wrong light just to get asylum in the U.S., in Canada, and many such countries. How is this happening? What's the route? What do they do? And how do Khalistanis mobilize students these days?
No, because Mr. Gurpatwant Singh Pannu, and I have encountered his nonsense for almost more than 10 years. Not in India, like everywhere, all over the world. I have traveled to Europe, and I was the last month, a few months back, I was in Australia and Europe, in U.S. and Canada, right? This is typically Dukandari. Khalistan is a dukandari for a bunch of these thugs, and so they shameless like these people, especially Gurpatwant Singh Pannu, the way he issued the threats against Air India, against the Hindu community, and against anybody, even from the Sikh community, at least those who try to speak out. And so they are trying to suppress them, and so they are building the narrative, and behind their narrative, at least, so they are talking always good about the Pakistan, right? From there you can see the way the agenda could be coming from. And they always speak about the pro-China. So that's why it is in my interest actually, because at the end of the day, I'm an American citizen. I'm loyal to America too. But at the same time, so I grew up in this country over here, because India is also my motherland too. So that's why whatever I do to counter their narrative, because their nonsense is hurting the activity of the Sikh community, and also especially the image of the Sikh community. It took more than 100 years for the Sikh community to build their credibility and their reputation.
True.
Now, these thugs like Mr. Gurpatwant Singh Pannu, and so the way he is issuing every statement, nonsense statement, it is causing lots of issue for the Sikh community. Now,
Is there any, in terms of conversations that you had with the Home Minister, is there anything in terms of what the Indian diaspora can do? How can the Indian government and the Indian diaspora and the U.S. really help in ensuring that there is more sensitization?
No. I think one of the agenda, because I don't want to go into too much detail, because one thing many people ask, like, so maybe because our conversation was focused on the Pannu, I said, like, he's not that important for me or for the HM.
We keep saying that we normally don't even mention much of him because
he was not
we don't want to give him that much.
We don't want to waste his time, because my reason to meet Amit Shah ji was to address what is the concerns of the Punjabi community. Because
what are the specific concerns?
Yeah, I'll give you few examples, because Mr. Modi, Prime Minister Modi, and he has done so much for the Sikh community. End of the day, I'm a Sikh, and whoever does, because this is after so long, and we have faced during the Congress government, actually, so the Darbar Sahib was attacked. And after that, we are sitting in Delhi now. You have seen the genocide of the Sikhs happening for the 3 days, right? Thousands of the people were killed, and they pretty much they put the tire in their in their necks, and they were killed. And the Sikh girls were raped. And 3 days actually, so all the Congress goons, and so they pretty much by having the voter Sukhi, they were killing the Sikhs over there. That's an injustice happened to the Sikh community at the time. And after that, justice was denied by the Congress authority, Congress government, and the people, those who were especially the culprit in the Congress government, actually, so they were given the positions. Actually, justice was denied. So that's why there was a resentment within the Sikh community. So when Mr. Modi came in the picture, and he reopened some of the cases, actually, so now one of the Congress member parliament, ex-member parliament, Sajjan Kumar, he's sitting in the Tihar jail, right? And because of that, like doing so much for the Sikh community, and the 550th birthday of the Guru Nanak Dev Ji was celebrated worldwide, not only in India, not only in Gurdwaras in Punjab, all over the world, actually, because in Washington DC and all the consulates. So that's why there was a time in 1984 when the Sikhs were treated as a third-class citizen. On the other side, today the Prime Minister, and he's giving so much respect, and he's always there whenever any.
Do you think it is because of this government and?
It's because of the Mr. Modi.
Okay.
It's because of the Mr. Modi's personal relationship. It's because he coming from his background is from the RSS, right? So that's why many people, there's a misconception, propaganda, and a wrong narrative built by some interested party from the Punjab side, actually. So the RSS is not good for the Sikhs, but I may be the first Sikh actually in the abroad actually who can claim openly and publicly that we don't have any issue with the RSS. RSS is not anti-Sikh.
You actually met B.L. Santosh also.
I met not only B.L. Santoshi, I met the leadership all the time. I do, and because of there was one of the critical issue, there was more than 200 families were on the blacklist. That blacklist was created by the Congress government. And we work very closely with the RSS leadership and also PMO, Prime Minister's leadership, right? We were able to remove pretty much the blacklist, right?
So did you make a distinction? Because a lot of the blacklist also had people who supported the Khalistan movement.
Did it?
The whole problem was that there's a very thin line over here, Mr. Chahal, that you'd be walking during the Congress time, because if they left, they were Khalistani supporters, quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to remove them, then are you saying that the Khalistani supporters no longer support Khalistani movement?
Many people, they moved on. Many.
So were you careful in delisting them?
We have to be very careful, because the incident which happened yesterday, will come back to that one. I'll tell you.
Exactly. Let's just go to the incident, because...
Let me say this one. So the people, those who were there was issue, more than 200 people. Not all was Khalistani, to be honest.
Okay.
And some of the people, they were innocent actually. So, but they were also put on the blacklist. Their family was not, extended family were not even get the visa, not the passport renew, this and that actually. So then there's 1,000 people were the victim of that one. So we worked very closely with the Ram Madhav on the RSS leadership and under the leadership of the Prime Minister. We were able to do that. We were able to remove that one.
To remove the ones who are not Khalistani sympathizers but have been wrongfully put in the blacklist.
There was only few left actually. So on that one, after that, you have not seen any kind of major mishappening or in that kind of incident happen, right?
Okay.
But after that, actually, so whenever there's an issue with the Sikh community, and so we try to reach out to the Prime Minister office, right? And of Afghanistan, that's like then there was people from the Sikh community, Hindu community was evacuated actually, so they were settled in India, right? Guru Granth Sahib based actually, they were taken brought back to Delhi on the Indian Air Force plane. These are the positive things actually. So the government of India has done for the Sikh community and the Punjabi community, because in Afghanistan it also falls in the NRI category, right? So that's why in order for us to get anything done, we have to work very closely. It does not matter. We have to work with the leadership, those who are the decision maker, right? So some people, they misjudge, they claim, they used to claim that, oh, so while Sukhi Chahal is meeting the RSS leadership or the PM on this and that. No. Now the people are able to understand, because we are making the very positive progress especially in many of the field. So that's why I'm meeting again and again. If I'm meeting the Amit Shah ji today, you will see that some of the progress maybe after 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Then let's come back to what happened at outside Darbar Sahib.
Yeah.
We had Sukhbir Singh Badal there, and there was an attempt on his life. Could you elaborate on the connections that the individual who now is in custody, Narayan Singh Chora, really has with the Khalistanis, and what was the motivation, so to say, according to you? Was there a specific motive?
Madam, but we have to understand, because one of the big demand even from the diaspora and the Sikh community there was a Bandi Singh, especially those who were the political prisoner, right? Some of them, they were involved in these kind of activity, but they have served their sentence. And they are in the jail for 20, 25. The demand is always there from even from those people that not only radical actually. So every Sikh community actually. So it happens like now they are 70 plus year, 60 plus year. We should make sure actually so help them out, and they should be the part of the mainstream actually. They should be given the opportunity, which makes sense actually if you take a look from the human rights point of view too. So now, after this incident, because this was also always my discussion with the leadership, that okay, so we have to do this thing, like we have to release them, and so I worked behind the scene, and many people have been released. And I have in Punjab, I have met some people, those who are living in Punjab peacefully after serving more than, one of them is 25 years, he served, one of them, the other one was 27 years, actually both of them met me. But I did not put their information in the public domain, which I don't need to. Now, we were trying to make sure, we were working very hard with the leadership that all the Bandi Singh, actually, so they should be released. But whatever happened yesterday in Darbar Sahib, I'm hands up. Because this guy, Narayan Singh Chora, he has a background, and he was also involved in many of the terrorism activity.
True.
And he was involved many of the, especially with the pro-Khalistani, and also like in the diaspora, he was doing many of the interview. And because of his Khalistani agenda, and the same thing like agenda actually which Gurpatwan Singh Pannu had over there, actually all the Sikhs for Justice had, and he is also the supporter of the Khalistan. Whatever he done, he is 70 plus year old now.
Yes.
And now, because he has been given the opportunity by the government of India so that he can be a part of the mainstream, time to move on, right? After that, actually, so if you're a 70-year-old, still your mindset is still stuck over there. Because you are radicalized, you are violent, right? You could kill the former Chief Minister of Punjab inside the Darbar Sahib. And they have no respect. It's not like the concern, the issue is not that he tried to kill former Chief Minister of Punjab, Mr. Badal, right? Sukhbir Badal. No. At that time, Mr. Badal was a average, innocent, we can say, he was a disciple over there. And he was pretty much following the order of the Akal Takht Jathedar Sahib, right? He was a disciple, like a normal Sikh, right? Attacking on him is kind of like attacking on the ideology, on the order of the Akal Takht Jathedar Sahib. It means these radicals, they even don't care about the Akal Takht Sahib. If they can shoot, they can try to kill somebody in Darbar Sahib outside, like they have no respect. They can do it. Unfortunately, same kind of stuff is happening on the Canadian and American soil too. People are being attacked, and the turbans are being taken out, and so now they are attacking the temples too. On the Canadian side, I mean, this is becoming a normalized. And this is what I was calling out to the Sikh community, Punjabi community for so long. Like, these people are violent, they are radical, they are Dukandari, they are Gunda Dal. Basically, they are the Gunda people, bunch of the Gunda people, not too many. They used to be only 50, not more than 50 people. But now suddenly, because of the many of the illegal immigrants went over there in the last, like, migration happened, illegal migration, everybody want to file the easy ways to get the political asylum. Now, because all these illegal immigrants, they joined because they want to be the part of this one. Actually, they thought, okay, so if you file the application for the political asylum based upon the, like, your demand of the Khalistan, you will get the residency over there. But unfortunately, given what Mr. Narayan Singh Chora has done over there, it is going to affect everybody in America.
Let's see how it's going to affect. Let's broad base the conversation, Mr. Chahal.
Sure.
We have Donald Trump, who will be taking over as the next president of the United States of America.
I'll be there.
You'll be there for the inauguration as well. And what does it really mean for the Khalistanis? We talk about that first, and then we'll come to the diaspora, immigrants, so on and so forth. But for the Khalistanis, what does this mean? Does it mean trouble?
I mean, instead of claiming that, like, he will be good or bad for the Khalistani, actually, so let's put in this Khalistani in the same category, like Islamic radicalization, right?
Any fundamentalist.
Any kind of violent
Extremist
organization,
group.
right? Extremist. Now, Mr. Trump is also a victim of that kind of radicalization. And
there was
he
an
was
assassination
lucky.
attempt.
Yeah, assassination. Like, whatever the assassination attempt happened on Mr. Sukhbir Singh Badal yesterday inside the Golden Temple, and the very similar assassination attempt happened on the Mr. Trump. And these people, they are not going to forget. And I have monitored Mr. Trump very closely, and he's not going to spare anybody, especially Islamic radicalization. And I think he's going to come after this Khalistani radicalization too, because it is our responsibility as a citizen to explain that these Guru Patwant Singh Pannu, he is not a representative of the Sikh community, and he is a radical, he is a violent people, he is a nonsense, shameless guy.
Mr. Chahal, will things change in how this Biden administration has approached the murder for hire charges against Indian officials and people against Guru Patwant Singh Pannu, as opposed to what the Trump's camp will do?
Time will tell, because the thing is, because it is at the court, the matter is in the U.S. court now, right? It depends actually how the judiciary is going to take, and now, what evidence do they have? Whatever they are claiming, whether so good or bad, because until you are innocent until proven guilty, right? So it's too early for me to make any statement, right, or comments. But given the kind of relationship Mr. Trump and their administration enjoy with the government of India, I think we have to take a look on the bigger picture. Okay. As an American, I think it's better to have a good relationship with India, because in order to counter China, India is not our enemy. And we are the allied.
Right.
But China is definitely a concern for us, right? It's better to have a good relationship. Even something minor, this kind of incident happen, I think there is a diplomacy. There is a people, they will sit down at the table, they will find a way around, and so people will move on.
Okay, but does it help? Does it help that President Trump has Tulsi Gabbard as the next DNI?
I hope so.
That the next FBI director is going to be Kash Patel.
Yeah.
That you have Vivek Ramaswamy in the cabinet.
Yeah.
Does it help?
No, it will help, because the thing is, we don't have to
because
explain.
she's very specific. She has very specifically spoken against the Khalistanis. She's very specifically spoken against extremism. So will it help?
If you can give me 2 minutes,
Yep.
I will explain. Tulsi
Sure.
Gabbard is a very good friend of mine, since not for so long. I have hosted her events in the 2 of the prominent Gurdwara Sahib in California. When I hosted the Gurdwara, and these Khalistani, they protested against her because of her Hindu background. They were saying that, oh, so she is Hindu, why she is coming to the Gurdwara? And I took the heat for that one, and she is aware of that, right? What is happening, why it's happening, and all these propaganda against her. So it means actually it's not something for another person actually so that I have to explain. She has seen it. And she has been very outspoken actually what is happening toward the Hindus in Bangladesh and all the Islamic radicalization, what is happening in the Pakistan. And she knows we don't have to educate them. And Kash Patel actually, so he also knows actually, so what is happening on the India side and what is happening on the US side. He's living in New York, and he see all the Khalistani nonsense all the time. And the people are aware of that. So that's why having the first-hand information is definitely going to help. End of the day, these things, why that has to be stopped, actually, these things can be an issue for the national security on the US side.
So okay, now you've analyzed, and now you tell me, is Trump trouble for Khalistan?
Oh, definitely. Going to be. It's going to be, but it's too early because let him settle down. After some time, and so when he settled down, so it's my responsibility on behalf of the Sikh community to reach out to his administration, educate them, make sure we brief them that these Gurput Pannu and the Khalistani nonsense has nothing to do with the Sikh community. Once we separate that, once we inform the FBI, I can have a meeting with the FBI, I can have a meeting with all the decision makers and the stakeholder. It is our responsibility. Earlier, from the when there was a Trump administration, I think we did not have that kind of access. We did not enjoy, and now on, I think we'll have a good opportunity.
That's good to hear, Mr. Chahal. Also about immigration. Now, Trump made a massive distinction from being an absolute anti-outsider to saying, I'm not anti-outsider, I'm not anti-immigration, I'm anti-illegal immigration.
Exactly.
So
That's the line.
he made that distinction during this campaign, and he made it very clear. In such a scenario, have you seen a shift of vote of the Indian diaspora from Democrat to Republican? That a lot of Indians also who are Indian Americans now are against illegal immigration because you chose the hard route of the tedious paperwork, proving yourself before really getting those documents in your hand. And a lot of people are finding the easy route of entering America.
Definitely.
So is there a shift? A lot of registered Democratic voters, Indian Americans, have they shifted to the Republican camp?
One of the reasons, before I answer that question, and so I think one of the reason Democratic Party, they were promoting, they did not try to stop the illegal immigration, especially coming from the open border, right, from the Mexico side, because they were thinking in the long run, not now, eventually they will vote for the Democratic Party. But because of that, actually, so because now the local community, and so they realize actually, so this is a big issue, this is a big challenge actually. So those people, those who are IIT graduate and those who are educated, those who want to come legally, there is a long wait for 4 or 5 years. Somebody else, like maybe who just come from the yesterday, they will file the political asylum after 1 month actually, so they will have some kind of legal status. That's injustice. That's wrong. So that's why Mr. Trump his administration made it clear he is not an anti-immigrant. We need, because the US is the country of the immigrants, right? And I am the example too, actually. So we have made all the immigrants.
It's built on immigrants.
Yeah, so we have done very well, actually. So we have made so much progress. We also had contributed to the American dream. So that's why. But having illegal coming over there and also participating in the violent activity, doing illegal activity, that's definitely hurting the US, and also it's hurting more on the Canadian side. Canada is worse.
Yes.
Yeah, especially you will see many Punjabi actually they're involved in the drug war and also in the gang war, and especially also in the organized crime, car thief, this and that. Actually, it's not. I'm not trying to defame the Sikh community. That's a reality.
In your conversations with government officials, former government officials over here, was there any conversation on this murder for hire charges and what it really means and why and what of it?
That's none of my business. It's already in the U.S. court. People had been extradited, and so they pretty much all the information is in indictment, right, in the U.S. court. And so they did nothing actually. Even if somebody have any conversation with me or you or anybody, at least not going to make any difference. But the thing is, reality will be there. And the people, those who have tried to do that kind of blunder, I think it's a mistake. At the end of the day, I'm an American. If anybody coming from India, China, Pakistan, Iran, anybody try to kill any US citizen on the US soil, tell me what will be my stand.
Nobody's going to tolerate it.
Yeah. So end of the day, actually, so this is why we left Punjab at the time during the terrorism time, actually, because Punjab was not safe state at the time because there was so much violence, so much terrorism. We went to we went to have the good life in America and Canada. And now if this kind of incidents start happening over there, so this is not good for even the community and also not good for the country, and especially when you have a so much good relationship, you have a very positive, productive relationship with the US Canada. These kind of minor incident, isolated incident, that can cause the issue, especially with the diplomatic relationship.
Okay, now before I let you go, how do you see in the coming 4 years of Trump administration relations between India and the US go?
I'm very optimistic. I'm very, very optimistic, but at the same time, so let's not be too optimistic. I'm optimistic because the thing is, because at the end of the day, Mr. Trump, and he is a businessman. And this is the last term he has, right? And he had the American dream, and he had this was his
and he wants to leave a legacy.
Agenda. And he had nobody was thinking actually because he can get elected. Not only he get elected, he had a majority in the vote.
Yes, and he won the popular, and he won the popular votes too.
Exactly. So that's why I think for his legacy, he's going to make many drastic changes in the for American dream, right? His policy
he's going to be tough on India on trade for sure.
No, I mean his policy is never going to be anti-India, but at the same time, he's never going to be pro-India. His policy is going to be always pro-America. Pro-America, and it has to be, right? So, but at the same time, so I think whatever they're talking about the trade gaps, this and that, actually, eventually, I think it'll be resolved. And so there's always all the big big boys, actually, they try to twist your arm here and there, actually, to get the better deal. And Mr. Trump is a very good negotiator, but I think India is not going to be an issue. But a country like Pakistan and Iran and all these radical, those who promote or those who are giving the hard time to, especially my friend Israel, they will be in trouble. And
do you think there's going to be a massive shift? We see that there's geopolitical shift,
definitely,
not just in West Asia, which is Israel and Palestine, but also in the Russia-Ukraine war.
Definitely. You will see actually, so the war is going to disappear soon. Actually, it'll be stopped like once, I think, as soon as he's in the office, and so the war will be over. And I think there will be peaceful.
You think he'll actually?
Yeah, that's
see,
the kind of
it's very rare
he
because it's very rare because we see so many leaders who've come trying to be these statesmen and peacemakers, and then you have a Trump who might not be the most polished or diplomatic in what he says.
Exactly.
But he certainly has not taken America to war.
Exactly.
And he certainly is going to bring them back to the peace table, the negotiating table.
That's a picture was painted by the American media against him. The narrative was built against him. Like the same thing, like the RSS narrative is so much wrong in the Sikh community actually, because some certain group actually, so they एक झूठ को 100 बार बोल दो तो लोग यकीन कर लेते हैं. So that's why it is, I think, whatever the media was telling, now the people realize, like now we are doing the podcast, right? This is more important than the mainstream media. This has made it so much different especially in the American society. And you can see Joe Rogan's interviews, right? And 2 hour, 3 hour, Trump is sitting over there, Elon Musk is sitting over there, Jerry Vance sitting over there, right? By the way, actually, so you forget to, very important part of the administration, actually, is Usha.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so she will be in the part of the White House too. And I mean, so there's many players actually. So the Usha will be there, and Vivek will be there, and obviously, Tulsi will be there, and Kash will be there, and after that, actually, there will be other many people, those who we even don't know behind the scene, and so I think long-term credibility and the reputation of Mr. Trump, you cannot predict what he's going to do tomorrow, right? These kind, I think, is working out very well for the America in the long run, because the people who were not paying attention to the American demand, and so now they are willing to listen. They're going to stop the war. and the things will be taken care. Everybody sit down on the table. It will be resolved not through the war, but
who knows? He can be a serious contender rather than one that he did last time. A serious contender for the Nobel Peace Award.
If he can stop the war, if he can stop whatever is
Then-
happening in the Israel, between the Israel and in the Gaza, and also
But
in-
not
in
at the
UK.
cost of demolishing and destroying
Exactly.
Gaza, but
Exactly.
at ensuring that there
No,
is peace in
I'm
terms
very,
of
very optimistic.
them
People
coming.
are very optimistic actually, because even I live in California. California is a whole Democrat state, right?
Of course, it is blue as
Yeah.
can be.
And I'm Trump's fan. And not only because you can see, you can take a look on my profile, and so this is not something actually because he won, and now suddenly I became his
No,
fan.
you've been saying it for
And
a while.
I'm very pro-Israeli and the Jewish. Like I have a very good relationship with the Jewish organization, and therefore yesterday, and I met many people from the ambassador.
Israeli
yeah,
embassy.
Israeli ambassador. That's the kind of relationship you have to build in order to make a good positive impact for the community, for the society. It's not, we are not meeting the Israeli just because Guru Pannu is making some nonsense statements here and there. He does not matter. He is not relevant. These kind of thugs has nothing. Like I even
How
don't have any
important
interest.
will Trump treat the Indian diaspora as? Will the diaspora be important for him?
He understand, and he understand not only how the Mr. Trump think or see. You can come to the Silicon Valley. You don't have to see. You can pretty much look at all the company. You can look at who the CEO of the Google, who the CEO of the Microsoft, and who the CEO, pretty much the top 15 organization. Not only the CEO, and also look at the second layer, third layer leadership. Indian community has played very important role.
Trump is trying to leave a legacy behind. You come from California, a completely blue state. Do you ever envisage California turning red?
No, there is a possibility, especially like now, the way there's a shift going on, and so it's not going to surprise me. And not only California, many other states, they are turning, Republican.
Sukhi Chahal, thank you so much for joining us here on India Today Global. Indeed, a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Please keep coming back, even if you're in California. It'll be nice to have these conversations
I will.
ongoing with you.
I will.
This is an important message. It's about the Khalistanis and how there could be a lot of trouble for the Khalistani movement and those supporting the Khalistanis in the United States of America with the Trump administration, given the choices that he's made, the people who will be around him and he'd be surrounded by. And it will make a huge difference in how seriously they're going to take, one, the Khalistani concerns of India, and secondly, maybe look at the larger picture of how that really has in a way, created rifts between New Delhi and Washington, D.C. So maybe there could be a turning of the tide over here, and we could see some improvement on that front.
Not only improvement between the India and the US, because the thing is, whatever the White House, especially Mr. Trump, is going to say, Canadian authority has to listen to him. Mr. Trudeau's days are
It
numbered.
could resonate. And yes,
Mr. Trudeau-
Prime Minister Trudeau is having a difficult time.
Yeah. His
Should there
days
be a
are
change
numbered.
in government there?
Definitely.
I suppose there will be a huge wave of geopolitical shift when it comes to India,
It is.
the Khalistani movement, US and Canada.
Definitely.
We'll keep our eyes on that story. It's a developing one. Mr. Chahal will keep joining us, whether if it's here or from California,
Definitely.
and keep updating you on what's happening on the ground in the United States of America as well. For now, it's goodbye from the India Today.